It's Naomi from Dope CFO, and today I wanted to bring a topic to you that we get a lot of questions about in our community. So we have a community of over 360 accountants who are working in the cannabis industry. And a lot of times, we're accountants, we're not marketers. So we have a lot of questions about how do you market your services? How do you market your business, especially when you're working in a new industry and you don't really feel like an expert, you don't really feel like you know enough. So we are going to cover the do's and don'ts of marketing your accounting practice in the cannabis industry. So I have 5 do's and 5 don'ts for you. So let's start with the do's. So do number 1 is make sure that you've updated your LinkedIn profile. There's no need to go out and get a fancy website, business cards, all these different things. If you can just start with your LinkedIn profile, create your profile so that it looks like and sounds like a sales page, and then you can start connecting with business owners. When you connect with a business owner on LinkedIn, they will click on your profile always to figure out who is this person trying to connect with me, and then they'll read it. And if it's a sales page, if it has information on there that might solve some of their pain points and some of their problems, they're more likely to connect with you. And then when you message them later, they're more likely to engage in conversation with you. And then that's a start of building a relationship. We like to use LinkedIn, and we have a tool. There's a tool on LinkedIn called Sales Navigator. It costs about $80 per month. However, it's absolutely worth it, because if you think about it, you'll be able to connect with 75 to 100 people a day using Sales Navigator. So over a month's time, that's 3,000 people that you can send connection requests to, and maybe half of them might respond, 1,500 people. So out of 1,500 people, you're guaranteed to at least land one client with that. And for $80 a month, one client will pay for Sales Navigator for the entire year. So we use Sales Navigator. You can pinpoint and you can target the people or your target audience. You can type in exactly where do they live. You can go all the way down to the city or the state or the region. You can type in what do they do. Are they a CEO? Are they in cannabis? Are they in CBD? Are they in hemp? And you can also just type in how big is their business. Are you targeting smaller cannabis companies, or are you targeting larger cannabis companies? There's an endless amount of different targeting fields that you can use in the Sales Navigator, and that is a valuable tool when using LinkedIn when marketing your practice. All right, so do number 2 is to keep up to date with the current news and trends that's going on in the cannabis industry. There's a lot of ways to keep up to date. There are hundreds of periodicals out there now with cannabis news. You can go to ganjapreneur.com. You can go to MJ Biz online or mjbizmagazine.com. You can also go to Normal, which is spelled NORML.org, and you can sign up, get subscriptions where they send emails into your inbox, and just read up on those every single day that emails come in. It's easy to read, easy to just click through the headlines and see what's going on in the cannabis industry. Things are changing every single day, and just keeping up to date with that stuff will put you above and beyond the next person. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to start attending networking events as well as trade shows. So trade shows might be a little bit out of your reach depending on where you're located. We advise that people attend trade shows that are in their local community, but if it's not legal in your state, even if it isn't legal in your state, they still have trade shows in about all of the 50 states. So attend your local trade shows. If you have to travel to them, it does get a little bit pricey because you need transportation and lodging and food, and to pay admission into these trade shows. So try to stick to the local trade shows at the beginning, and if there aren't any, then maybe start networking events or go to networking events. Look at and see what's going on in your community. Even if it's not legal in your community, I can bet there's still some type of association or group of people who are helping with the legislators to create the law so that it can become legal later in your state. So look into networking events, and if there aren't any, start your own networking events. We have members of our program who have started events like Women Grow, and they have hundreds of thousands of members in this group. It's out of New Jersey, and you're able to network with these people, and you can provide information. You can be reading up on the news, reading the court cases, interpreting those court cases and figuring out what does it mean for business owners in your area, and bring that information to them and help them understand and help them navigate these court cases, because they're busy running their business or getting their licensing or whatever it is that they're doing. They're busy running their business and they don't have time to read and interpret these court cases in the tax code and the accounting laws. So to have somebody come to them and break it down for them simply and show them this is what you need to be doing, this is what this means to your business, is going to be so valuable for them. And when they're ready to hire an accountant, or if they already have an accountant but they see that you're able to provide more value, then you're going to be the first in mind for them, or for one of their buddies if somebody else that they know is also opening a cannabis business. So networking events is the next do that I would say that you should try doing when networking, when marketing your cannabis company. And so let's go into do number 3. And do number 3 is to become active in your local governance. This is a really big one. We've kind of talked about this a little bit, but we have an acronym called becoming a VIP, which the V stands for becoming a valuable expert. So do number 2, when you're networking and you're attending trade shows and you're signed up for all these publications and keeping notified, that's how you become an expert. The I in VIP is becoming an instructor. And so not only do you need to become an instructor for your clients and helping them understand and navigate all the changes in the tax code and all the changes in the laws, but you also can become an instructor and be a speaker at some of these events. And so you can go to these networking events. A lot of times they don't have accountants speaking. They're always talking about product. They're always talking about brand, location, those types of things. But a lot of times they don't have accountants speaking, which having bad accounting is the quickest and fastest way to get your business shut down. So that's something that's very important, that they start having accountants there. And it's very important that these business owners have instructors and trusted advisors out there that they can work with. And then the P in the VIP is to become a participant. And so that's when we talk about getting into your local governance and talking to your legislator, making the law, helping shape the law. And not only are you helping shape the law so you know exactly what the law is, but you're helping shape the law in favor of your clients, and your clients will definitely appreciate that. And so if you come to them and you say, there's a law on the table and here's the vote, you should vote this way and this is why, because it's going to mean this XYZ for your business, that's going to go over and above beyond of you just providing them accounting services. You might not even be hired for them right at that moment, but trust me, these businesses are growing so quickly and you will be the first person in line if you are helping to shape policy in that state with them. And also you'll meet them because they'll also be there trying to shape policy for their own businesses. And then do number 5 is to get the proper training. And so you want to be able to understand these businesses' pain points, and the quickest and fastest way is to get the training and to be a part of a community of other professionals who are also working in the cannabis industry, who are also facing challenges and struggles, and you can learn from their mistakes, or not from their mistakes, but just learn from what their experiences are with their businesses. So get proper training and join a community so that you can continue to advance your skill set and your knowledge in this area. So those are the 5 do's. Now I'll repeat those. The 5 do's are: update, keep your LinkedIn profile updated as if it's a sales page to these business owners. Keep up to date with current industry news. Join all of the publications so that you can get emails daily. Attend networking events and trade shows. Become active in your local community and local governance, and also get the proper training. And so now let's get into the don'ts. And so these are the things that you should not do when trying to market your business. One is, don't just sit still and think that they will come. And I've started my business, I got my logo, I got my name, I've got my business cards, so they will just come. they're not going to come because they don't know that you have all this stuff. They're not Googling for whatever your business name is. If it's not an obvious name, they're not going to find it unless you put yourself out there and start talking to them and handing out business cards or sending them to your LinkedIn profile or connecting with them on LinkedIn. They have no idea that you exist. So don't just sit back and think that people are just going to start to come to you. Number 2 is spend too much time on branding. So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but don't spin your wheels trying to figure out the perfect name and the perfect logo and then creating the perfect website and the perfect business cards, because I will tell you 9 times out of 10, if you create your website before you get your first client, you will be recreating that website after you get clients. Your clients tell you exactly what problems they're solving for you. Your clients tell you exactly what problems you're solving for them. And if you build your website thinking that you already know all of their problems, you're going to be mistaken. We have been doing this business for about 2 years, and I just finally did a poll to our members of our program, and I said, what is the essence of Dope CFO? Because I want to make some t-shirts and I want to put a slogan on there. And I had these 3 different comments that I thought they were great. You know, we're changing the face of accounting. We are, you know, giving you confidence and all those types of things. I had these great things. And then they came up with a whole different one that I hadn't even thought about. And it was not your granddad's accountant or not your father's accountant, which was hilarious, but everybody resonated with that. And so I could have went out there in a silo and said, I know my business, I know what I'm doing, and made 100 t-shirts and pass it out, and they probably wouldn't have wanted it or wouldn't have wanted to buy it. But now I have more buy-in from my audience. I know what I'm selling to them. And so all you need to do is use your LinkedIn profile, get a couple of clients under your belt, and then understand from your clients exactly what the value is that they think that you're bringing to them. And when you build your website, you need to express that value so that when people come to your website, you can be speaking directly to your client, and then that will help you get clients. So don't do any branding until you've actually landed your first couple of clients. So that's don't number 2. Don't number 3 is don't spend too much time trying to prove yourself. So when you are on a phone call, so you'll do your marketing, and then you'll start getting phone calls. You'll get people who are interested in what you have, and they want to understand what types of services you provide and if you'll be a fit for them. Well, during these calls, you also want to make sure that they are a fit for you. And so you want to maintain the alpha role. You don't want to, a lot of times, us as accountants especially, because we value our titles, we value our certificates, we value having experience. And so we get on the call and we're trying to give them our resume. We're saying we've done this for 5 years, and then we did this for 10 years, and I'm a certified this, and I'm a certified that, and you know, everybody loves me. You're trying to give them all of this stuff, but on those calls, really, you want to understand what you're getting yourself into. What is that business doing? A lot of these businesses are trying to teeter on the black and white market because of one reason or another. You want somebody who is completely in the white market, who's completely legal. You want to understand, what do they do? Did they file their taxes? Do they have an accountant in place? Are they using an accounting system? Do you have to do a lot of back work, because then that's going to determine your pricing? Do they understand cost accounting? Are they doing accrual accounting? Like, you want to get all those questions answered so that you can determine if you even want to go into this business. It might be too messy. You might not want to do all that cleanup, or you might enjoy doing all that cleanup and you know that you can demand higher fees, but you want to go into that call making sure that you keep an alpha role, because what happens is, a lot of times we hear this a lot. As accountants, we want to prove ourselves, and then sometimes we get bullied on those calls, and then we get desperate and we're like, oh, we want a client, whatever they want, we'll do it for them. And they'll come on that call and they'll ask you to send all these testimonials and tell me about all of your experience, and review my tax return, and if you can make me a savings, then I'll hire you. That's free work. You don't do that type of stuff. You want a deposit if you're going to review anything, you want to know that they're a serious buyer. You're going to want some type of deposit for them. And then you look at stuff. You're not sending them your referrals. You're not doing any work for them until you know that these are a serious buyer and that they're going to put their money where their mouth is. And then that's when you're going to help them out and see if you can get some tax savings for them or clean up their books or whatever that is. Because if you start off the engagement with letting them bully you and telling you that you're going to do some free work for them, improve yourself before you can get started, the entire engagement will be like that. You will always be bullied. This will be that nightmare client that you hate opening up the emails for, that's always being over demanding. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining the alpha role and that they understand that they are hiring you to be the trusted advisor and that you will do your job the way that you are trained and understand how to do it. And then they just need to support you in providing the information that you need so that you can give them the information timely. All right, so that is do number 3. Do number 4 is do not spam your professional networks and your personal networks with non-business related stuff. Now, I know we can get really excited about cannabis and there's new things that come out on the market, new vape pens, new memes, new, jokes, all these things that come out on the market, but be careful not to just completely spam your audience with all these things that are non-cannabis related or non-business related, and give them the facts, give them information, help them understand what's going on in this industry, how they can get involved in the industry, or how you help people in this industry, just in case they know somebody who's in this industry and they want to refer you to that person. They know that you're a serious person, that you're doing your research, that you're reading the articles, and then they're more likely to refer you to the people that they know. So that is don't number 4. And then don't number 5 is do not try to do this alone. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, it can get a little bit lonely. Whatever your situation is, you might work from your home, you might actually have an office, but if you're just starting up, you may not have a full staff of people that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of. You're a one-stop shop. You're doing everything on your own. And so it's good to join a community of professionals who are in the cannabis, specifically the cannabis industry. Now, there's tons of accounting communities over there, but cannabis is very specialized and very different. And you want to be in a cannabis community. That way you can bounce ideas off of other cannabis professionals and they can answer your questions specifically. If you're in a community of just general accountants, they're going to answer your questions in the way that from the lens that they understand. So if they're doing real estate brokers, or if they're doing restaurants, they're going to answer your questions the best they can based on the restaurant industry. Well, you want questions answered based on the cannabis industry. So you want to go out there, you want to find a really good community with other experts, because we have a community of 350 members. And when there's a question asked in that community, 9 times out of 10, it's not a black and white, yes or no, black and white, here is the answer. It's typically a long discussion, and you'll see 5 to 10 comments under that discussion where people are linking to resources that they found. They are giving you their personal experience with clients. They're giving you a lot of insight on the different directions you can look at this, because a lot of these tax codes can be interpreted so many different ways. So you really want to get a good, solid understanding of what's been happening, what are other people doing, so that you can make your best informed decision. So those are the don'ts. Let me just repeat the don'ts. So it's don't do nothing and think people will come to you. Don't spend too much time branding and building websites and business cards at the beginning. Just focus on getting your first client. Don't spend too much time trying to prove yourself when you're on these sales calls with these business owners, and spend that time trying to figure out if you actually want to take this client on as a client. And then don't spam your professional and personal network with a bunch of junk and fluff. Be serious, put out things. If a new state goes on board, announce that. Put out professional posts on your professional and personal social media. And then don't number 5 is don't try it alone. Make sure that you're part of a community and that you have a network of experts that you can bounce ideas off of, so that you can ensure that you're taking the right path with your clients. So I hope that this information was helpful. Remember, we also have a cheat sheet. So if you want to know how to land your first client, we have a land your first client cheat sheet. All you have to do is text the word dope CFO, all caps, no space, just dope CFO to the text it to 345-345. So text the word dope CFO, all caps, no spaces, to 345-345. And I hope all this information was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.